Shalom, shalom, shalom. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, a so-called black man. Today we're going to touch up on, Esau Edom's attempt to misdirect and to mislead the mass, and this is his last attempt basically before the end of his rulership is up. So he's trying to pull out all the, he's trying to pull out all the tricks that he got. And one of the main tricks he got is, the media. So he's seeing through the numbers that his main networks, the media, the mainstream media might not be doing this job. So what's next? He got to start using this influence on the social media networks. So a lot of these influencers are coming against the word, basically siding with Esau Edom, man, because they speaking against the truth that's coming out in these last days, trying to wake up our people, and gather the elect and then in innumerable numbers. But they trying to make it seem like as if the people who's speaking, on the truth, the servants of the Most High, are not doing anything or preaching hate or anything that's going, contrary to what they feel like should be going, which is, love, peace, or if you feel so strong about that, why don't you do something other than preach the word? Why don't you put some action into effect? And it's just nonsense because we have a task to do, and that's to wake up the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And a lot of these influencers, whether that be sports pundits or, some of the most outlandish statements that's made by some of, the most outlandish, people on social media platforms, their whole goal is to, downplay or to come against the word. So we're going to get a few scriptures and we're going to expound upon that and we're going to take it from there. So this is out of the book of 2 Corinthians, and it's the 13th chapter, and it's verse 8, and it says, "For we can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth." So in your feeble attempt to try to make the truth look like it's null and void, and that it doesn't hold weight, and that it's just a bunch of guys out there, dressed in dresses, as one of the influencers said, whatever you say, for those who are gathered to the word and who were predestined to get this, it's nothing you're going to be able to do that's going to be able to knock them off their rockers, man. But for those of, the ones that kind of side with you and be like, he has a point right there. What have those men out there in those dresses, with those fringes on, done other than just preach the word? When are we going to see something, a course of action? Them going and, putting hands on somebody. Well, it tells us that this is a spiritual war, man. This ain't the time for us to lay hands and put hands on anybody like that. This ain't what we are ordered to do. We are ordered to go out and preach the word and gather as many to the word as possible. Gather the elect and the innumerable number. So this ain't about a physicality war right now. And we see that in Ephesians 6. It tells us that in Ephesians 6. Let's go down to verse number 12. And it says, For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. So we not out looking for physical interaction to get our point get our point across. We out to preach the word, preach the truth, wake up our people, tell them to repent, tell them it's a pending fate coming to this country to be judged for all this heinous acts that is committed against the children of the Most High Yahweh. So this is our job to do right now. It's not to go out and get physical or have physical altercations and block doors and do all this other stuff, stop traffic and make all these other, nonsensical acts. That's not what we were told to do. So we're gonna follow the word and do what the word say, and not with some, person that's in their feelings and emotionally unstable, and feels like what we doing and what the word is doing is coming against their bottom line. And that's what you're seeing right now through a lot of these, counter movements against the word, man. So they trying to use mainstream and social media platforms to come against the word. And not only that, they using our own people to come against us. So it's causing more confusion. Like you put people in high places, so when they speak, it'll reign more, it'll have more validity than somebody who doesn't have that much, notoriety. That's why you can get sport pundits and come on, these syndicate talk shows or whatever you want to call them, post-game interviews and stuff like that, and say that the black community has no hate towards no LGBTQ community or anything like that. And then another one to say this basketball player is an idiot for exploring the opportunity that he could be a Hebrew. These are all ploys by the wicked elite, man, to try to get you to get off your rocker, to knock you off your rocker so that you won't take this heed and take this, time to get yourself right and to get yourself together for this judgment come. So you can be left to be devoured by that roaring lion. So we're going to go into it and we're going to get some scriptures and we're going to call them out for what it is. So this is in the book of Matthew, the 13th chapter. And we're going to jump down to we're going to read a few verses. We're going to jump down to verse number, I believe it's 47. And it reads, again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a net that was cast into the sea and gathered of every kind, which, when it was full, they drew to shore and sat down and gathered the good into vessels, but cast the bad away. Right, so this net is to sift through, the ones that's going to get the truth and get salvation in that day, and the ones who just going to be set aside for destruction, man. So ain't nothing you seeing happening by just sheer coincidence. No, this is all prophecy right now. And if you falling for, whatever strong delusion is being put on you because you're not staying in this truth and you believe a lie, then you're gonna be set aside for that day in destruction, man. Because you look at these people, whether they have 1,000 or 1,000,000 followers or whatever, or whether it's a real well-known TV show, you taking their word over the truth. Here it is. The Most High Yahweh, through his only begotten son, Yahushua, has set up servants to preach this truth in the last days and to wake you up. And you seeing proof being played out right before your eyes, but yet you don't take heed to it. You just think it's another day, or you just take it as a something funny or a joke, or however they delivering however they delivering the message to throw you off. Okay, so let's continue. So it says, so shall it be at the end of the world. Right, and that's this man's world. It's getting ready to come over. It's getting ready to end. His world is getting ready to be over, man. Pursuing the second Ezra 6:9. Esau is the end of this world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. And it says, the angel shall come forth and sever the wicked from amongst the just. And that's how they doing it right now. You know, these angels, man, they putting the spirits on these other people to come against the truth, to sever the wicked from the just. And if you the wicked and you following this, you're going to be easily severed from the just, who know how to use discernment and have that eyesight and can be like, this person is full of it. They have nothing to substantiate what they're saying and backing it up. You know, and this is the time for you right now to get this buffet of knowledge that's coming out, man. So you can discern, or if you can't have somebody to discern and show it for you. So you can have that. So you can have the Holy Spirit on you, and you can make these, and you can be guided and led through these times that we getting ready to come into, man, which is known as Jacob's trouble. So now this is your grace period right now to get it all in while you can, because once this word is taken away, you're gonna be left out there alone and by yourself. You ain't gonna know what to do. You ain't gonna know what's going on. You're gonna be lost. And like I said earlier, you're gonna be ripe for easy pickings from that devouring lion, man. So he throwing out all type of misinformation to mislead you through people who you revere as high on the ladder, or comical, or who you believe have a lot of common sense and logic, as into these people are preaching hate, or these people, this and that, which it can't be substantiated through the word, man. They just speaking of their own volition, out of their own head. They have nothing to back this up other than they don't want to lose their bag, that they feel that they don't work hard to gain some kind of, notoriety in this kingdom right here, which is just about almost over with. That's why they're getting all these opportunities, but they can't figure and put two and two together to figure that out. That they letting these people get the bag because, as I mentioned earlier, the bag already got holes in it. Once they transferred this current currency over to this new currency, which is going to transition into that mark, all that stuff that they got ain't gonna make a difference anyways, unless they gonna acquiesce and comply with the beast system. All this what they saying ain't gonna make no sense, man. So this is a method that's being used to sift through, to sever the wicked from the just. Let's go ahead and get that in Amos. We might read and expound upon the whole chapter. This is Amos, and we're going to go down to chapter 9. We're going to start from the top. And it says, verse 1, I saw the Lord standing upon the altar, and he said, smite the lintel of the door, that the posts may shake, and cut them in the head, all of them, and I will slay the last of them with the sword. He that fleeth of them shall not flee away, and he that escapeth of them shall not be delivered. Though they dig into hell, then shall my hand take them. Though they climb up to heaven, thence will I bring them down. And they that hide themselves in the top of Carmel, I will search and take them out thence. And though they be hid from my sight in the bottom of the sea, thence will I command the serpent, and he shall bite them. Verse 4, and though they go into captivity before their enemies, thence will I command the sword, and it shall slay them. And I will set my eyes upon them for evil, and not for good. 5, and the Lord Almighty power of hosts is he that toucheth the land, and it shall melt. And all that dwell therein shall mourn, and it shall rise up wholly like a flood, and shall be drowned as by the flood of Egypt. It is he that buildeth his stories in the heaven, and hath founded his truth in the earth. He that calleth for the waters of the sea, and poureth them out upon the face of the earth. Yahweh is his name. Verse 7. Are ye not as children of Ethiopians unto me, O children of Israel, saith Yahweh? Have not I brought up Israel out of the land of Egypt, and the Philistines from Caphator, and the Syrians from Kir? Behold, the eyes of the Lord Almighty are upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth, saving that I will utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith Yahweh. Yeah. So here it is in verse 8. He says, behold, the eyes of the Lord Almighty are upon the sinful kingdom. You know, and this is the people, you know, this is a portion of our people that's just, they ain't gonna get it no matter what, man. They don't want to get it. They feel like they are too entwined with this kingdom to forsake anything that they done built and see for the long run. And it tells us that in Zechariah, the 13th chapter, and we're going to go down to verse 8, and it says, and it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith Yahweh, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die. So 2/3 of us are, you know, of the sinful kingdom ain't going to make it. But what it says, but the third shall be left therein. But 1/3 of us is going to make it, man. And that's the elect and innumerable number. That's what's going on. He's sifting through the two. Those who gonna make it and those who ain't gonna make it. So by you following these influencers that's being set up and put above you to throw you off, you know, you could easily be cast into that 2/3, man. Like I read in Matthew 13:47-50, man. Kingdom of heaven is like unto a net that was cast into the sea and gathered every kind, which when it was full, they drew to shore and sat down and gathered the good. That's the 1/3 to a vessel and cast the rest away. That's the 2/3, man. That's the castaways. They already predestined to get the judgment that's coming for them, man. So let's go back over to Amos 9 and pick up where we left off at. This is Amos 9. Verse 8. Let's start from the top again. Behold, the eyes of the Lord Almighty power are upon the sinful kingdom. 2/3. And I will destroy it from off the face of the earth, saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob. That's the 1/3, saith Yahweh. For lo, I will command, and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations, like as corn is sifted in a sieve. Yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. That's right. So out of him sending us throughout all these nations, and he, you know, sending out this truth, which is sifting the house of Israel among all these nations, not the least grain shall fall upon the earth. Why? Because we are the ones that were already predestined and ordained from the beginning to get this truth, the elect in the innumerable numbers. You know, so it's already been preordained before the beginning. So these people who are, you know, doing what they were doing is already predestined for them to do this already in these last days, man. They just filling out their lot. You know, and unless they repent and turn back from their wicked ways, man, you know, that's just what it's gonna be for them. So let's continue. Verse 10. All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword. That's the 2/3. That's what we were reading in. Which say the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us, because they don't believe in the truth. They just, like one of the influencers said, they just a bunch of people out there in dresses just talking. They ain't doing nothing. They been talking. When we gonna see some action? See, this is their mindset. They don't have faith, man. They cardinal. They just want to see physicality. They want to see somebody laying on the ground. They want to see somebody, something happening physical where they could say, okay, now it's time to get on board. No, man. This is about faith. You're not going to save yourself out of what's coming, man. Only way you're going to be able to get yourself out of this judgment that's coming is if that you have faith in the only begotten Son, Yahushua, that He's going to deliver us. And we're going to get that as we go further down this chapter right here. So it says, verse 11, in that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof. And I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old, that they may possess the remnant of Edom. And let's look up that word possess. All right. All right, this is Hebrew 34:23. And it says to seize, dispossess, take possession of, inherit, disinherit, occupy, impoverish, buy, and heir, to take possession of, to inherit, to impoverish, come to poverty, be poor. So we going to possess these people, man. We're going to impoverish these people. Let's go back. That they may possess the remnant of Edom and all of the heathen which are called by my name. So they're going to be called by his name because we're going to have them in a possession. So under their possession, they're going to be called by our name. They're going to be under our possession. They're going to be impoverished. We're going to put them into, strenuous work. We're going to impoverish them. So this says that they may possess the remnant of Edom and of all the heathen, which are called by my name. Say if Yahweh that do of this. So this is going to be Yahweh that do this. And we know He's going to use His only begotten Son, Yahushua, to do this. All right? And through Yahushua, He going to use Jacob and Israel to possess the remnant of Edom and all of the heathen. So this is 13. Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that the plowman shall overtake the reaper, and the treader of grapes him that soweth seed. And the mountains shall drop sweet wine, and all the hills shall melt. And I will bring again the captivity of my people of Israel. Now, when you go into the word bring again, in the Hebrew, that means to turn back. So it says, and I will turn back the captivity of my people of Israel, and they shall build the waste cities and inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards and drink the wine thereof, and they shall also make gardens and eat the fruit of them, because we know under the curses we wouldn't be able to do any of that. We would plant the vineyards and somebody else would reap the benefits of that. So when He turned back the captivity of my people of Israel, and they shall build the waste cities and inhabit them, and they shall plant the vineyards and drink the wine thereof, they shall also make gardens and eat the fruit thereof and eat the fruit of them. That's the curses being lifted up off of us. And here it goes, 15. And I will plant them upon their land. That's Jerusalem. And I will plant them upon their land, and they shall no more be pulled up out of their land, which I have given them, saith Yahweh thy power. So we ain't going to be uprooted out of Jerusalem once Yahushua brings us back into that land ever again, because that's going to be the eternal kingdom. All right, so it's just evidence that, I don't want to say the vibe, but the feel in the atmosphere against this truth is counterproductive, man. Here it is, we bringing out the truth in these last days, and you got these supposed to be so-called, our people coming against us, and it's all for the bag, man. They don't want to upset the balance that they done feel like they done made it in this society. Whether they got a little YouTube, or what other type of platform they got that they feel like they got a substantial amount of followers on, that they could increase the followers that they have by coming against the word. Well, they don't know. They can't do nothing against the truth but for the truth, man. And they just further severing the wicked from the just. So let's get a couple more scriptures, then we're going to close out after that. And this is in the book of John. We're going to see why they do what they do. 8th, St. John, the 8th chapter. For those of you who do know, and for those of you who don't know, we're going to go down to verse 44. And it reads, "Ye are of your fathers the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh it of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it." And that's what you see our people coming against the truth is. They coming in the spirit of the devil, they father, who deceives the mass, all for a chance to grab the bag, which they don't know the bag already got holes in it, man. Programmable holes at that. So they taking the bag, and on the back end, they don't know what they're giving up in the long run, because they don't have no truth in them. They just thinking, man, these people just off their rockers, man. Just out here talking, they ain't doing nothing, they ain't showing no action. Are they preaching hate? Or they, that ain't what it says in the Bible. Why you talking like that? No, man. We are ordained to do a job, and that's what we gonna do, man. So let's read that again, then let's close out after that. St. John 8, verse 44. Ye are of your father the devil. And we already know what group of people, what nation of people deceived the whole world, man. That nation is Edom. Today they are called the Caucasians. And the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. And that's what you see our people doing, man. They murdering their own people by telling them that this truth has no validity, that it doesn't stand, that there's nothing that comes out of this truth other than just people talking without any action. So they following right in the footsteps, but they follow the devil, because there is no truth in him. When he speak of a lie, he speak of it of his own. And that's what you see a lot of these people that look like us, so-called blacks, Latinos and Native Americans. That's what they doing. They speaking of their own when they come against the truth. They don't have anything else to come against the truth with but out of their own imagination. And that's how they getting a large, a large base of followers that follow them, because they already been set from the beginning to be part of that 2/3, man. If they don't get the truth and repent in time, they just following a script that's already been written before time. So it says, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. And that's exactly, man, now Edom don't got to do that. He could just set, his what you call them people, his lackeys out to do his dirt for him, man. And in the promise of giving them a bag, giving them more followers. Because a lot of the followers, man, he manipulate the numbers, man, to make them think they got more than what they got, for doing a good job. So they all being set up from the beginning, man. and they got judgment to come if they don't get it right and get it together before this place is destroyed with thermonuclear missiles, man. Speak of that in Jeremiah the 50th chapter, man. Those arrows coming to Babylon. We already know who spiritual Babylon is, man. Coming live from Babylon, man. So this place got judgment coming for them, man. And if they don't repent in time and get it together, which who knows, man. Some of them may, and some of them may not. Their faith is already sealed. So let's read it. I know I said this last time, but let's just read it one more time going through, and then we're going to close out with 1 Peter. So St. John 8:44. Ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar, and the father of it. So let's close out in 1 Peter, man. Chapter 5. Let's go down to verse 8. And it reads, Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. And he gonna get a lot of people under the pretense that the truth that's going out and being preached in these last days holds no weight, man. These servants that's being set up and being propped up to tell you what's going on, they all preaching hate. This is the message that's going to be pushed out. And anyone that follows them, good, better than them. A bunch of fear mongers. A bunch of, individuals who don't like or hate another group of people. They're not going to tell you that they trying to prevent you from facing, judgment in the form of thermonuclear missiles that's coming to this land, man, that you can't escape your judgment, even if you do try to board a plane and go to another country. You can't hide from judgment. So they ain't gonna tell you all of that. They're just gonna tell you one side, and that side is gonna be how they want to project that image towards you. Whether it's directly through their mainstream media or now, that they can give the bag to a regular Joe off the streets, and all he gotta do is get his followings up and his numbers up through social media platforms. So they trying to make sure they cover all loose ends, and then try to get as many as that will believe what they saying to follow what they saying. So now your head is being lifted up off of you, and you have no protection in those days, man. So now is this time, this grace period that you should be repenting and turning back from your old ways and trusting and having faith in the Lord Yahweh Shai, that he's coming back to deliver us in that time. So when those perilous times present and come, face to face with you, you will have a hedge to protect you. Because other than that, you just out there for loose prey, man. That's exactly what's going on. That's what's actually, the table's being set right now as we speak. Don't look for anything to turn back to how it was prior to all this knowledge coming out and going forth, throughout the whole earth. No, it ain't going back like it was before then, because this thing got to continue. This thing got to go on, man. You can't, just because you don't want to acknowledge these prophecies being fulfilled, don't mean that they ain't going to be fulfilled. See, in your mind, you thinking if I don't acknowledge this, it ain't going to happen. Nah. It's going to happen whether you get on board with it or not. Whether you want to admit that you are Hebrew Israelite or you not. You going to get what you going to get. Either you're going to be part of that 2/3 or you're going to be part of that 1/3. But it's already been predestined from the beginning whether or not you're going to get it in time or not. So all we doing is going through the motion and doing what we was told to do and praying and hoping that we be part of that number, that elect, that get sealed and get called up from the destruction that's coming to this place right here, Babylon the Great. With 50 states. So all we trying to do is do our part so that we can have a place out of this place of destruction when it comes. So the chariots is real, man. They coming for deliverance. And whether or not you part of that number, is being put into place right now. Now it's the high time to wake up out of sleep. So you can't say you didn't have no opportunity to get the truth, man. The opportunity you had, you looked at it and you laughed and you scoffed. Because you thought your favorite influencer was so funny, he was making so many valid points, or she was making so many valid points that the truth didn't hold no weight. So you didn't go and do your research and do your due diligence and look into it and find out whether or not what they were saying was actually truth or not. You trusted in man. You put your faith in man. So now you got to deal with the faith of having the faith in a man. You got to deal with that judgment. So we're going to go over this verse one more time and then we're going to take it from there. So this is 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8. And it reads, "Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil," and we read about him in John the 8th chapter, the 44th verse, "as a roaring lion walketh about, seeking whom he may devour." So, just be on your P's and Q's, keep in the spirit, keep in this truth, man. Stay grounded. Don't let, the wiles of this kingdom come uproot you, man. It ain't going to be your decision. If it do, it's already going to be the decision of the Most High, because you was already preordained from the beginning. So, the word is there. It's going to be there. You just got to be there. Stay in the truth. Stay prayed up, man. Fast, And the spirit going to guide you, man. So, with that being said, stay strong. Stay in the faith. We almost home. Shalom.